My name's Julia. Welcome to my power yoga class. I hope you enjoy it. So please start like we normally do, sitting up with a nice straight spine, cross-legged or any other way that feels comfortable for you. Just let everything else go in the world and let this be your time for yourself. So just take some deep breaths in and out through the nose, just feeling the air flowing through the nostrils. Let your eyes gently close. And then let your chin drop to your chest. Your eyes open, roll your head around one way a couple of times, just gently stretching it out. Keeping the breathing nice and deep and long. And then reverse. Shoulder shrugs now. On an inhale, bring the head and shoulders up and back. Exhale, down and forwards. Again, inhale, up and back. Exhale, down and forwards. One more time. Big inhale and exhale. Take your left hand out to the side now and the right hand to the ceiling. Stretch it up, pull back, lengthening the entire spine. Feeling the stretch in the ribcage. And then push away over the knee. And then with your hand on your knee, other hand behind. Sit up tall as you inhale. And as you exhale, press into a twist and look back. And then keeping the body in the twist, bring your head around to look out over the front shoulder. Again, focusing on the breath, always making the breath the priority over the pose. And then we'll switch to the other side. So the right arm goes out, left hand to the ceiling, stretch it up, pull it back, and gaze up past the fingertips to the ceiling. And then push away over the knee, pressing away with the palm of the hand. And then bring that hand on your knee and the other hand behind of you. Sit up tall, inhale and exhale, twist. Push against the knee with this hand and against the floor behind you, wringing out the spine. And then keeping the body here, bring your head around to look over that front shoulder. Nice, and then bring yourself over onto hands and knees, fingers spread wide. Hold the tummy in nice and long but firm. Inhale as you look up into the wolf pose, like a wolf howling at the moon. And exhale into a cat, just wakening up the spine. Inhale again into the wolf. Exhale, cat. Then one more time, inhaling into wolf. Exhale, cat. And bring the spine back to neutral. Now tuck your toes underneath you, press the hips up towards the ceiling for downward facing dog. And you might like to pedal your feet, pressing first one heel and then the other down towards the mat. Maybe push the mat away with your fingers and then press both heels down, stretching it out. If this bothers your back, you can have your knees very slightly bent. And then from here, walk your feet up to your hands and roll yourself slowly all the way up to standing. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and the head floats. Bringing the hands into Namaste here. Now as you inhale, reach out and up overhead, palms to touch. Exhale, come to a flat back and round all the way down. Hands come to the floor, your feet, or onto the shins. And now on an inhale, look up. So if you can have your fingertips on the floor, great, or else have them onto the front of your legs. And then bend the knees if you have to. Now you have some options here. Either step yourself back into plank, take a few little steps back into plank, or else if you want to try the jump, You bring your weight forwards, look forward. So I'm going to look about here. Bend your knees and jump back into plank, holding it here. Knees down if you want to, otherwise lower yourself all the way to the mat, or if you're strong enough, hover an inch above it. And then roll on the top of your feet for up dog, or if you have your legs down, cobra pose. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little closer to your hands. Press into the pose. Head relaxes, heels press towards the mat. If they ever get there or not, it doesn't matter. That's the way they're working. Breath is still nice and deep. And then we're going to come forward. So you've got your options again. Either walk yourself up, take a big step up, or else bend your knees out to the sides like a frog. Look forwards and leap up to the front of the mat. Look up now as you inhale, and then exhale, folding down, bringing the crown of the head towards the feet. Inhale, flat back as you come up. Reach the arms out to the sides, palms to touch, and exhale back into Namaste. Okay, great. So we're going to do that 2 more times. So on an inhale, again, reach out and up, stretching long. Exhale, forward fold, flat back all the way till the thighs cry, and then let yourself round down. Inhale, remember your options, look up, stretching out the spine. Exhale, hands flat, step, jump or walk back into plank and lower yourself to the mat or just above it. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the feet in closer towards the hands so you can press back into the pose. Stay here for a few breaths, pressing the heels down. Head relaxes. So press all the fingers into the mat so the weight is not all on the wrists. Okay, we're going to come forward. So remember the options. You can step, walk or jump. So looking forward first, step up to the front, look up, and exhale, forward fold, stretching towards the legs. Inhale, reach out and up, palms touch, and exhale, Namaste. And one more time, flowing through it. Inhale, reach like a dance. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, look up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step, walk or jump back to plank. And the same exhale lowers you down. Inhale, roll into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet are hips width apart. Either walk your feet a little closer or you can take your hands back. So you're pressing into the pose, pushing back with the hips. Fingers are spread wide, head relaxes down. And then get ready to come forward. So exhale first, inhale, come forwards, look up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching out and up, palms touch, look up, and exhale, back into Namaste. Well done. Now bend your knees down into chair pose. Keep the knees behind the toes, slinking down as if sitting on a very uncomfortable chair. The tummy is in, reach the arms out and up overhead, palms touch, stretch back, lifting through the chest. Inhale here, exhale, straighten the legs, reach up, and then swan dive forwards all the way down. Hands onto your leg or onto the floor. Inhale, look up, stretch out the spine. Exhale, step, walk or jump back, plank pose, and lower yourself down with control. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the feet in a little closer towards the hands, or the hands a tiny bit back. From here now you're going to take a big step forward with your right foot up. between your hands, bring the back foot flat. So you want the heel behind the toe a little bit. Keep the front knee bent and reach up, warrior one pose. So in this pose, you're trying to bring the hips to face the front. Sink into that front knee, back leg is straight, body long, arms reach up and look up. And then reach back out to the sides, hands come either side of the front foot. Come on your back toes. So you're in a nice deep runner's lunge. Step yourself back into plank and then lower down with control to the floor or just above. Inhale, up dog or cobra if your legs are down. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Nice. And then we'll do the other leg. So stepping your left foot forwards, back foot flat, reach the arms out, up, overhead, and palms touch, sinking into that warrior one pose. So from the belly button to your fingers, you're stretching, and from the belly button down, you're sinking down into the legs, like you're splitting the body in two here. Inhale, exhale, come down, hands either side of the front foot, come onto your back toes into lunge. Step back into plank and lower yourself down. Inhale, roll into up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog, walking the feet in closer towards your hands or the hands back a tiny bit. Press into the pose. Some nice deep breaths. Trying to keep the breathing through the nose the whole time if you can. So exhale here, get ready to come forwards. Inhale, step, walk or jump, straighten the legs and look up. Exhale as you forward fold. And then bend your knees down to chair pose. Bring the arms up, palms to touch. And then all the way back up to standing. Inhale, exhale, back around into namaste. We're going to do that again, a little bit quicker this time. So bending the knees, keeping them behind the toes, reach the arms out and up overhead, chair pose. Exhale, come to a flat back, round down, head hangs low. Inhale, look up, lengthening the spine. Exhale, step, walk or jump back and lower yourself down with control. Flowing into the up dog or cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. From here, take your right foot up between your hands, back foot flat, and lift up, warrior one pose. Palms touch overhead, and then bring the hands back down, either side of the front foot. Come on your back toes, step back to plank, and lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Nice. And then step your other foot forwards. Back foot comes flat. Reach the arms out, up, palms touch, sink into the legs. And exhale, coming back down into lunge. Step back to plank and lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, and hold it here. Well done, get your breath back. Pressing into the pose. Now anytime you want to, remember you can take a break. Child's pose is a good pose to do that. If you come down, letting your hips go back to your heels. Hands can reach out in front, be by your head or back towards your feet. Otherwise, hang out in downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to come forward. So step, walk or jump. Exhale first. Inhale, come forwards, looking up. And exhale down. Bend your knees now and let yourself roll all the way up to standing. Hands into namaste. Nice. From here, take a big step back with your left foot, keeping the right leg in front of you. Arms reach out front and back, star pose I call this. and then stretch forwards. If you're grabbing something off a shelf, bring that hand down, grab hold of your leg or your ankle, wherever you can get hold of, and the other hand up towards the ceiling. Turn the gaze up, past the fingertips to the ceiling, if that doesn't bother your neck. Otherwise, look straight ahead. So you're pressing this hand into the mat, reaching up with your top hand, tucking your right hip under, opening the left hip up towards the ceiling. And breathe. And then look down at your front foot, bring yourself all the way to standing, turn the front palm to face the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, slide down the back leg, taking that top arm up and over. Stretching long, pressing the feet into the mat. And then come back up into this star pose, scoot the front foot away, and come into warrior two. So you're bending the front knee down, the back leg is strong, belly button to the crown of the head, stretching up and lengthening. Now bring your front forearm onto the thigh, reach over with your other arm and stretch long. So you're trying to get a straight line all the way down the left side of the body and opening up the chest towards the ceiling. And keeping the front knee bent, come back to warrior two. Turn the front palm to face the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen even more from the crown of the head. Exhale, slide down your back leg, taking that top arm over. Still sinking into the front knee, the back leg is strong. And then come back to warrior two and bring the front hand down, maybe to grab on the leg or the ankle. Maybe you can bring it on the big toe side of the foot. Other hand up towards the ceiling. And then stay here, or else reach behind with your other hand. And if you want to, you can try and reach the right hand behind. Have your hands working towards each other. They may or may not clasp behind you, and that's completely fine. Then looking down at your front foot, slowly come back up into warrior two. Straighten the legs and step yourself in. And then step out to the side, hands onto your waist. This time you want the feet parallel. Push the hips forward, lengthen up through the spine, let your head drop back, shoulder blades squeeze together. And bring yourself up to standing and come to a flat back. Arms reach out to the sides like aeroplane wings, pressing the back of the hands up towards the ceiling. And then from here, let yourself round down. Maybe you can get your hands on the floor. Otherwise, hold on the back of your legs. So your legs stay straight. If you have a yoga block, you can also put it in front of you, if that helps. So let your head relax down. You can push against the mat with your fingers to stretch the head down towards the mat. And bring your weight a little bit forward so it's more on the balls of the feet. So you can feel the stretch all the way up the back of the legs. And take yourself over to grab the outside of one ankle with both hands. Look up, inhale here, exhale. Now take all that length over the leg. If you don't come down so far, that's completely fine. Always listen to your body. Just take it to where it's a good stretch and no more. And breathe. And then walk yourself over to the other leg. Grab it with both hands. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, stretch over the leg. Again, the head coming down towards the foot. And walk yourself back to the center. Hands onto your waist. On one long inhale, come all the way up to standing. Nice. And then turn your left foot out and your right foot in. Bring your arms out. Stretch forwards and bring that hand down anywhere between the knee and the ankle, and the other hand up to the ceiling, looking up at it. Now, more important than getting this arm around is bringing the shoulder around as far as you can get it. So you press with the left hand, reach up with the right, and breathe here. Trikonasana, triangle pose. And then look down at your front foot for balance. Come up slowly back into that star pose. Front palm faces the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen from the belly button to the crown of the head. Exhale, slide down the back leg and reach that top arm over in a big semicircle. Stretch it long. So you feel the stretch all the way down the left side of the body here. Come back up. And then scoot the front foot away. So you've got a little bit wider stand. Come down into warrior two. So you want to make sure that you can sink deeply into this pose without the knee being over the toes. So sink in low into the front leg, back leg is nice and strong, pressing the little toe side of the foot into the mat. Then take your front forearm onto the thigh and reach up and over, pushing back towards the back of your head all the way as you bring that arm around. Stretch it long. Again, trying to get that straight line all the way down that side of the body. Peering around your arm up towards the ceiling. And then keeping that front knee bent, come back up. Warrior two. Turn the front palm to face the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, slide down the back leg and keep your front knee bent deeply. Back leg is still straight and strong. And this knee tends to want to flop in towards the big toe. So use your leg strength to press it out towards the little toe side of the foot. And then come back up. Passing through warrior two briefly. Bring the front hand down. Grab hold of your leg, ankle, or bring the hand to the floor. And the other hand is up to the ceiling, gazing up at it if you can. And then if you want to take that back hand, wrap it behind your back. Stay here, opening the shoulder. If you want to take it even further, take the bottom hand, wrap it underneath the thigh, and wriggle the hands towards each other. Perhaps they'll even clasp. Looking down at the front foot, release your hands, come back up into warrior two, hold it, and bring the legs straight, feet back to parallel, hands onto your waist. Inhale again, looking up, squeeze the shoulder blades, and exhale, come back to flat back. And this time bring your left hand down onto the floor in front of you. It could be on your fingertips or your hands flat. Take the other hand, open it up towards the ceiling and look up at it. And then we'll swap hands. So right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Rotate through the spine and look up. And then lower that hand again. Now if you walk your hands out in front of you so your weight really shifts forwards, take the heels wider than the toes and then press back. This should feel really nice, letting your head relax down. Pushing the hips backwards, the fingertips stretch forwards. And then walk your hands again back between the legs. Hands onto your waist and bring yourself all the way up to standing. Walk your feet in and give yourself a shake out. Well done. Okay, we're going to do one of my favourite balances, which is called dancer's pose. If you turn sideways, if you have something to hold on, you might like to try that first if you're not familiar with the pose. Otherwise, you bring one leg up. Now you have your palm facing away from the body. So you're grabbing the big toe side of the foot. And then you take the leg back, stretch it back. Your other arm is out in front. So pull that leg back as far as you can first. And then come down into the pose. Hold on to something if you feel you want to help with the balance. Otherwise, look out straight over the front fingertips. Very beautiful pose. Okay, we're going to do a balance pose now. It's one of my favorites and it's called the dancer's pose. So if you bring the weight onto one leg, bring your palm to face away from you and bring the leg up, grabbing the big toe side of the foot. So take that leg back as far as you can. You can hold on to something for balance if you want to, if you're not familiar with the pose. Otherwise, your other hand's out in front. Now take that back leg back and sink down into the pose, looking forwards over the front fingertips lifting that back leg nice and high. And then when you're ready, ease up back into Namaste. And we'll do the other side. So again, bring the palm to face away from you. Most people grab the outside of the foot, which in the end limits the arm movement. Having your hand this way means you can take it around much further. So grab the foot, find something to look at that's not moving in front of you. Lift the back leg and sink into the pose, taking that back leg up nice and high. Hold a few moments, and then when you're ready, ease back up and hands into Namaste. Well done. Okay, I'm going to do another balance pose now, which is tree pose. So if you bring your weight onto one leg, bring the other foot on top of the foot, onto the leg, or else you might like to grab the foot, bring it up to the top of the thigh, press it in, and hands come into Namaste, pressing the knee out to the side. Holding it, don't worry if you wobble. Trees do sway, so it's completely fine. And then lower. And we'll do the other side. So bring your foot onto the foot, the ankle, or the leg. Opening the knee out to the side, hands in Namaste. Find a little point of something to look at that's not moving, with a very gentle focus. And keep the breathing nice and smooth. And release with control. Well done. You'll notice that I wasn't using a mat for these balance poses, because if you have less underneath you, it's a lot easier to balance. And back on my mat again. Come up close to the front of the mat with your feet and ankles together. Nice long spine, tummy held in firmly, hands into Namaste. On an inhale now, reach out and up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, flat back. Let yourself round down. Hands beside your feet or onto your legs. Inhale, look up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, step, walk or jump back into plank. Lower yourself with control. Remember, come to your knees if you want to. Come all the way down this time, bringing the feet flat. Now have your shoulders back and down. Lift up into Cobra pose, pressing the hands into the mat. Shoulders are back and down. If this is too much for you, come into a baby Cobra on your elbows. And from here, press back into child's pose, stretching out the spine. Let your head relax down. And ease yourself up. We're going to do camel pose, which is another back bend. So there are a few options. I'll turn around to show you. One option is to hold onto your waist, push the hips forward, lift up, squeeze the shoulder blades together and press the hips forward just as far as feels comfortable for you. If you'd like to take this pose further, you can come onto your heels, reach back one hand at a time to grab hold of them, push the hips forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, and again let your head drop back. When you want to come out of the pose, lift up one hand and then the other, and then come hands onto the floor and round into a cat curl. Just stretch the spine out the other way. Anyone wanting to take it further, bring your feet flat. Now you've got further to reach. So bring one hand down at a time, grab hold of your feet. Again, pushing the hips forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, and the head drops back. And to come up, one hand at a time, ease yourself out, hands down, and round into that cat curl. Just pressing into any area that feels tight. And from here, cross your legs, roll yourself back to sitting, or else come to sitting any way you like. Bring the legs out in front of you, stretch the body out long and walk yourself forward. Bring your hands to grab your feet or your legs, stretch forward with your chest, and as you exhale, bring the chest forward as if you're going to bring the chest onto the feet. So stretch long and then you let yourself round down. So you keep pulling the chest out towards the feet, but don't go scrunching your head down because you might hurt your neck. Now if you can reach around your feet, do that. Maybe you grab your feet, maybe you can hold your toes, or maybe hold your legs. So wherever works for you. And ease yourself up from the pose and come to sit with your feet together, pressing the knees out towards the mat. Lift up with the chest and then bring yourself forward. You can either walk your hands out in front or hold on to the front of your feet and bring the elbows onto the shins so you're stretching yourself out nice and long. Let your head relax down and breathe. And ease yourself up again from that pose. Bring the feet back out in front of you. And then if you bend one knee, bring it in, and if you can, bring it over the top of the other leg. Otherwise, keep it next to the knee. So if that's your right leg that's over, bring the left hand across. Hand or the elbow or the arm, grab the outside of the leg and your other hand comes behind you. So stretch up as you inhale, and as you exhale, press into a twist and look behind. See how I'm just keeping my spine nice and straight up and down even as I'm pressing into the twist. And then release that and do the other leg. So hug the knee in and then either keep it here or bring it over the other leg. So you've got your opposite hand or elbow this way or this way, whichever works for you. Other hand behind you. So sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, press into the twist, wringing out the spine, looking back, feeling the stretch all the way from the base of the spine right up to the crown of the head. So you can have your hand this way if you prefer. And then release. We're going to go into boat pose. If you scoot your hips forward a little bit, hands out in front, take the weight back until you can bring your legs off the mat. Perhaps bring them parallel to the floor, perhaps bring them even higher. Just find your place and hold. And then lower. Bring yourself forwards. Now you can do it this way or any way you like. But if you want to shift your weight back a bit, cross the legs, rock yourself forwards onto your hands and bring yourself onto hands and knees. Otherwise, just come onto hands and knees any way you like. Then bring the right knee forward, slide the back leg back, and bring this foot, if you can, just around a little bit of an angle. You want to keep the hips parallel with the mat here. Slide the back leg back. This is pigeon pose. So you should be feeling it in your right hip if you've got your right leg in front. Okay, so stretch forward now, look up, and then slowly come down onto your arms and then let your head rest down. If you start feeling this bothering you on your knees, then back off, don't come down so far. This is quite an intense hip stretch. It should feel really good, especially if you run or do other exercise. So a couple of deep breaths here. And gently ease yourself up. Now either stay here or else put your right hand in front of you for balance. Come on to lifting the back leg, or else come on to that front hand for balance. Take your left hand behind you, see if you can grab the foot and just bring it very gently in towards the hip. Some people call this screaming pigeon, and you might know why. So release gently. We're going to switch over to the other side. So you ease that right leg back. Bring the left foot forward. Again, slide that right back a little bit further. Take your foot over a little bit towards the right knee and ease into the pose. You're sliding back until you feel the stretch right up the left hip here. Again, if it bothers your knee, skip the pose or just don't come so far into it. So stretch forwards now, looking up, lifting through the chest. As you exhale, come down onto your elbows, one at a time, and then let your head relax down, relax into the pose, feeling that nice deep stretch in the left hip. And then pushing up gently. If you want to, you have your left hand in front, then if you want to, have your left hand in front, bend the right leg behind, reach around, grab it with your right hand, gently pull that leg in towards you. If it's too much, skip this pose. And then release and ease yourself slowly out of the pose. Take yourself into child's pose, walking the hands out in front. Let your head relax down. And then you're going to come all the way down onto your belly. Bring your arms behind you, pressing into the mat with the palms. Lift the head and chest as high as you can get them. And then take the legs up, pressing up, lifting as high as you can. And then clasp your hands behind you and pull. Reach up, squeeze the shoulder blades, make it a good one. Hold it for 3, 2, and 1. And relax, take yourself back into child's pose. Should feel really good now, letting your head relax down on the mat. Ease yourself up. Now we're going to come back into sitting. So cross the legs behind you, roll yourself back and come into boat pose. So stretching the legs out, hold it here, find that balance, find that calm. And lower the legs. Push yourself forward a little bit and then ease yourself slowly down onto the mat. Bring your right knee into the chest and hug it in. So bringing your left hand to the outside of that knee, press the knee over to the side, look over towards your right hand for a spinal twist. So the knee is going one way and you're looking out the other way. Come back onto your back, hug that knee in and swap legs. So hugging the left knee into the chest, hold it here, stay here for a couple of breaths. And then bring the hand on the outside of the knee, press it over to the right as you look out towards the left hand this time. Enjoying that stretch on the lower back. Ease back onto your back again, hug that knee into the chest. And then release. Now walk your feet up so that they're close to your hips. Bring the heels down, tuck the tailbone under and start to lift it up one vertebra at a time, pushing the hips up, right up towards the ceiling until all the weight is on your feet and your shoulders. And then if you can, clasp your hands underneath your body, wriggle the shoulder blades underneath so they're squeezed together, press the clasped hands down into the mat. If you can't clasp your hands, push the palms down into the mat so you can feel the tricep muscles working hard. Pushing up as high as you can with your hips. Then come on tiptoe, push even higher. And then take your hands behind your head, hold onto your elbows, and one vertebra at a time, start to walk your spine down. So you tuck the tailbone tightly underneath so you can bring down the upper back, and then the middle back, and finally the lower back. And then gently bend the knees one at a time into the chest, hug them in, and let yourself rock side to side. Should feel really nice, like a little back massage. Try bringing the knees close in towards you, and take them a little further away. And you'll see how it massages slightly different areas of the back. So if there's anywhere that feels tight, you can focus on that area. And then slowly release the legs one at a time. Stretch them out one at a time. Have them just a comfortable distance apart. Let the feet flop apart. And bring your hands a comfortable distance from your body. With your eyes gently closed. And now relax every single muscle in your body as you let yourself melt down into the mat. Relaxation pose. This is the most important pose of all, especially if you've been working hard in the class. So let yourself just melt down into the mat, just bringing the attention onto the breathing. Feel your tummy gently rise and fall. And then slowly start to bring your attention back into the room. Just your fingers and your toes wriggle. And then slowly bring the arms above your head. Stretch your body out long. Fingertips in one direction and your feet in the other. And then bend the knees one at a time. And hug them into your chest one at a time. And again, let yourself rock gently side to side. And then rock all the way over onto one side. And with your eyes still closed, very, very slowly bring yourself all the way up to sitting with a straight spine, cross-legged, or any other way that feels comfortable for you. Let your hands rest on your knees or on your lap. Take a few deep breaths. And then let your chin drop to your chest and your eyes slowly open. Inhale now and stretch overhead, palms to touch. And exhale down. And then one more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale down. Namaste. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button below, and also like the video if you have, and also any comments would be most appreciated. Thank you and see you again.